called whatever is the Mauryan, whatever it is, art object, it possesses luster. अच्छा 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 तो और कम कर दो वॉइस वॉइस कम कर दो वॉइस हमने तो फुल कर दिया था इसलिए नहीं वॉइस मैंने तो कर दिया था सेकंड से पहले So, ego is saved. Is it?
It is far better, far better. Please carry on.
Okay, okay. Now she has set newly. So, just you see, whatever is Mauryan art, object art and architecture, sculpture, etc. It possesses luster on its surface, but it is called as polish, which I don't like. I prefer to use the words brightness, luster. It is not simply gloss. It is something which is from the other side of the sculpture or the architecture. So it is not glossing, it is not polish. We have to understand what I want to say, that like a person, he has something like Atma, something inner we have. So these sculptures and architecture, they have their inside this luster which comes out. So with this view, I have studied the polish or luster, the people, whatever they call, and how it is to be known. And I will give the examples and the references also next. You see, there is very apt expression, like something cut mark on metal. If any metal is given a cut mark, and how the luster comes out of it. In the same way, the jewels, money, when those are cut, and then a fresh luster which we find it. That I mention here. Now I will show a few slides continuously so that we must be familiar with the luster, with the any whatsoever any the polish what is other people. So I am just moving one by one, just it is to show and the audience to be familiar that what is inside the sculpture, which is coming out in form of luster. You see all these, I don't name all the where it is found, because everybody knows these are the objects. I will just see this.
Sir, there is some problem, audio issue, sir. Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Sunil, sir.
There is no audio, sir.
वो म्यूट में है, उनको अनम्यूट करिए. म्यूट हो गए हैं.
Huh?
Now he is unmute. Yes.
Unmuted.
Now correct?
जी.
Yes, yes. Now, this is the very, very important photograph where from Barabar Nagarjuni, that see a monk is standing there, and his image is from the wall. And it just, what a skill was at that time. How they produced the whole of the architecture of that with that shining, with that lustre, and a person is as if seeing in the mirror. And you see, I will give the reference in our own ancient literature. This type of surface is called as Adarsha Talopam. Adarsh means the mirror, the tal, the surface, like that of a mirror. So, and it's such a high skill. Now, I mention these two scholars because they have studied a great to this problem. Professor Vasudev Sharan Agrawal, he was in Banaras Hindu University. He was in the department of, at that time known as Art and Architecture. To that very department I also belong. And I have been with Vasudev Sharan Agrawal ji for many years. And he had given, I will give the text later on, the Indian text showing that it was this which is described in the text that we see in the sculptures. And Bharat La Jaiswalji, Kashi Prasad Jaiswal from Patna, he has edited Hathi Gulfa inscription. And in that inscription, there is a mention of a pillar which was made as shining as jewels cut. And it is mentioned in the inscription itself. So these words we should adopt. The art historians must take these words to their descriptions, which has yet not been done. Now a few more shining pillars, inscriptions. Yes, next. Yes, these are the
So
where
please,
I have visited.
sir, screen share कर दीजिए. Sir, screen share कर दीजिए, sir.
PPT is not coming, sir.
Just check. Very difficult. Does it come? Do you see?
नहीं sir, अभी नहीं, not yet.
अरे ये अपने से ही क्यों हो जा रहा है?
Share screen press कर देंगे sir.
Actually, I'm already sharing the screen. I'll
Okay.
just try again. I'll try again.
Yeah. Earlier it was very much visible, but
Yeah.
since last a few minutes, you know, there is no screen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Please keep it in presentation mode. F5 press कर दें.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Coming.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
इसी करते चले हम।
हाँ.
So a few more examples shining. These are the pillars. This is from Delhi. This is from the left side from Hisar, Fatahabad. And this is the Hisar pillar. The upper part is with Lashkar. And the right side to me is the Sanchi pillar. And how Lashkar, still, but these things should be protected. It is open there. Anybody may do any harm to all these. It is already harmed. There is a mystery and history for how it was broken. And these are some of the inscriptions I present. Even the place where Ashok has inscribed, that also is made, and then it is. Now I show you this picture of Ashok himself, and it is from Sannati. So it is just, and we are discussing Ashok and his works. So I thought it should be better if we also see Ashok in our sculptures. There are three places where Ashok has been depicted. The one is at Bharat, the second is Sanchi, and this is from Sannati. It is later it has been found, and those two sites were earlier. Now you see how these inscriptions are Mauryan art. It attracted the persons. It was Firoz Shah. Just you see in the 14th century, he brought three. Rather, he was interested in three Ashokan pillars. One from Meerut, the from Ambala, and the third one itself from Hisar. And in Hisar, he constructed his Durga, and it is and a part of that is in Fathabad. So these three he was interested. In the 17th century, William Finch, when he came India, he saw it, he has written about it. And then later on, D.B.Pandey in the 18th century. And lastly, it was enthusiastically, and he compiled the now I to the basic of historians everywhere have written that this luster of art in art objects is not Indian. It has a foreign uh, origin, and this was with the whim of the John Marshall, the director, archaeology. This was the page which was included in the Cambridge History of India, a very big, and we should say a very important publication of that time in 1922. And here he has written, I will just show in the next slide, and he says that it is not, the work is not of Indians, it is from Persia, from outside. And he has tried to say in his words how it is so, like that. So I declare this page as the black page of Indian history for arts, at least for arts. There are so many other things also in that book which we don't agree to follow, to agree with that, or many things are there. But this, vehemently he has written that it is not Indian. How he speaks about it, it is very. You see, in this black page, page number 21, just a few lines which I have underlined here, and he from Persia again. The craftsman of Ashok learned how to give a lustre to these stones, and he had been deliberately making this statement. And I feel very sorry to say that even after the evidences which Professor V.S. Agrawal have brought to light, nobody is following that it is not foreign. It is not done outside and it was borrowed or it was followed in India. But since they were of a notion, they were to say all these things to Indian history and our culture. So they have made such a statement. Now, this is the example for that. This stone is put at Sarnath in Varanasi. And whosoever has written this in the present day, he also says the same thing. That it is said that the lecturer. So all these things should be corrected. We should follow the actual things, what it is or what it was. And there is nothing short of a debt owing to Achaemenians. These are the quotations from Mauryan and Shunga art, the Niharanjan Ray's work. And Niharanjan Ray, when he wrote this book, he has tried to show that the making of pillars and establishing of pillars, which all has been said by English people, that it is all in the follow of the Persian art. But he has proved from the Vedic mantras and other sort of literature that no, this part is wrong. And Indians always they have put pillars whenever they do yajnas and all other sacrifices. Even till today, we first establish a dhwaja whenever we do something religious. So all this he said, but he could not dare to say that it is not a debt on part of India. He has made this expression 2 times in his book. But it is not the fault of Nihar Babu, because no texts were available at that time, which Professor V.S. Agrawal, Vasudev Sharan Agrawal gave us in later days. Yeah. Now see, from where the lustrous polish mentioned in the book, mentioned in as being used by people of ancient India, is referred to. So there is about the Jatak, Maha Ummagga Jatak. A palace is described there. Apastam Shrauta Sutra. This is the Jain text. Very clearly it says, Shlakshani Karanaiha Shlakshani Kurvanti. And the same type things are also in other texts. Adarsh Talopam I have referred earlier also. Now you see, Shlakshani Karanai, to perform, to do lustrous, a thing making lustrous. And Shlakshani Kurvanti, doing that. That is, there is a reference in this that people were doing itself. They were under work. Okay. Huh? Is it all right?
Somebody has messaged.
Yes, Gurudev, you are properly audible and we
Okay,
are able
okay.
to watch.
Okay. Yeah. So I find here in this part of Sanskrit stanza that people are referring to the way or technique or the method how it was done. And Professor Vasudev Sharan Agrawal, when he quoted all these things, he was simply saying that it is mentioned in the a text. And so, earlier he also had followed, in one of his articles, he followed the same what John Marshall has written. But later on, when he published his Chakradhwaj, at that time he changed his view. And he has given all these references in that book. But still he only says that this is mentioned in our book. So we should say that it is ours. Now I will examine and will show to you that how this is done, not only in the times of Jain religion, that is, say, about 6th century BC, or the Buddhist scriptures, 6th century BC, 6th, 4th, 3rd centuries. Rather, it has a start with the Vedic literature. I will just show the references there. And since the Kurvanti Shabd is there, this word is there, Kurvanti, it indicates the working. And so there is a technique. And that technique, we should vehemently say that the technique was known to Indians. It was not borrowed from Persia or anywhere else. Yeah. Now, a few which explain it did not only explain the lustre, but in our own tradition, a long tradition. That's why we are using different types of technical terms. You just see from two words here. Deepta Vaishwanara Prabhan, like fire, Agni, Pradeep Agni. And just you see, it is in the description of a cave in Valmiki Ramayana. So the architecture is related with these words. And the other word, Vibhrajamana, shining. Not only lustrous, but shining. The luster goes out also. So all these words, aage do teen next. Yeah. Now you see, there are a number of words, the technical terms, which I have found from the scriptures, from ancient books. But here, nothing is mentioned from the Vedic literature. Because I also did not find, rather I was not known. So, when I collected these all, more than what Professor V.S. Agrawal did, or some other people also have mentioned, like the Jain scholars. But by that time, it is about 20 to 30 terms which we know now. But now I move to the Vedic references. Here also the same, a few I have brought in a bigger form so that the audience could see it. Prabha, Bhaj, Bhraj, Deepta, Divya, Manimay, Jwalamana, Sit, Taijasa, Varchas, Vaidurya Garbha. This is the term what Hathi Gumpa inscription, Kharvel himself has used it. Shlakshana. So out of these many terms, actually the technique or the technical thing relates with two words, Vaidurya Garbha and Slakshana. Vaidurya Garbha I have already discussed, the jewel if it is cut, beryl. The cut of the beryl, whatever we see, that is referred there for the four faces of a pillar. And you see, what was the cost at that time? 75,000 panas were spent for one pillar. So how costly this was. It was the king like Ashok himself with a vast area under him that he did all these things. Later on, it was not possible by others having the meager part of earth to be ringed. So you see, before Ashok, these are the north black polished wares. These were made, these were prepared, and a lustre is given to it. And many other things also we may say from archaeology we get. Even a slip which is put on a pot and it is finally brought out of the fire. So that also glows. So the things were in our practice. For this only I have just referred it. Shlakshi Karanaya and Shlakshini Korovan. Now you see there was a word that is also a technical word. I was very much fond to get a few words from Ashok himself, but it was very difficult in early times. But now I have taken two words especially. You see, there are words like Divya, Divyani Rupani. There is one word, Sarva Seto Hasti. Setu means Shwet, the white. But both the words have meaning with the Abha, that is Prakashman, the lustre, the glow. And as such, the word is in itself Divya. Divya means something which is giving rays out of it. Divya. And Sarva Shweta. Shweta doesn't mean only white color. Shweta is the same as glow. Now, for that I have given two examples for you. That when Buddha was to have conceived by his mother Maya, there is a story that a white elephant came from Swarga, or whatever the place it is. And you see, the white elephant is here it's coming down, and it is in a prabha. This round means it was vibrant white. And the same, this is from Gandhar art, and the same theme we find in Bharhut. And in Bharhut, the theme is extended. It is not only the elephant, but the whole environment of the room. That was vibrant. That was with rays. So we have to learn what actually the artist, the writer, the rishi, what he wants. Something. In the same way, I was
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. There's some network problem, I guess.
Yes, yes. He got disconnected, but trying to reconnect.
Ha.
So I was discussing about the Jnana Shamila.
Am I back?
Yes? Okay, it is?
Yes, Gurudev, please carry on. It is very fine.
Take it. Now, in the first in the first part of the drama, the first act, and there is a 14th number of shlok where it is mentioned. The line runs like this: Prasnigdha Kvachiding Gudi Phalamidam Suchanta Ivopala. Now there is a reference of polished stone, and this is not the. I don't say that it is the words of Kalidas. Actually, these are the words of the king himself. So a king is saying, written by Kalidas, no doubt, and Kalidas is also knowing the thing. And he mentions that in earlier period also it was done so. That's why he is referring. So he refers the upala, that is the stone. And it is parisnigdh. It is very smooth, and if it is smooth, it is shiny. And how it is done? It is done with the use of the fruits of ingudi. I have given the ingudi fruits, flowers, tree, and all those things, and the big trees of ingudi, because anybody could say that these small fruits, how much they would have used to make a wall itself to burnish. So I have given that it is not a very a small shrub. These are the trees, and it is fully flowered and fruits we find. So now I am more interested in interpreting this. King Dushyant is approaching to Kanva's ashram, and he mentions that, you see, the ingudi fruits are hammered, and due to hammering on those, whatever the oil is coming out, and whatever the hammering is just pressing these stones become prasnigdha, and especially snigdha. So here snigdha is very important. It is say slipping, that is very soft, and oil is soaked with the stones. So this indicates the method. This indicates which was used, how the oil of a certain tree was used, and how this was prepared, how the oil was taken out, and it is very clear to me, at least. Okay, it was done. And there are references in Ramayana, Mahabharata, in Shushrut. It is also a medicinal plant. And even it is mentioned that the oil is used for lighting lamp. So it was in process. It was the method was in process. For other purposes also it was done. It was not only done for the stone to shine. It was made to local use also. So there was a technique, and this technique, that is taking the oil and putting to the stones, rubbing with that the polish, which is called the luster, becomes like that of a Vaidurya Garbha. So this is what I see that these words say. And it is a sentence uttered by a king. So he must be knowing the technology in that time, in those days, prior to Kalidas. And even we could easily say that continuing up to the Kalidas. Because later on, and no such graceful figures are found. There are certain, but seldom, here and there. And the people also shifted to shining stones. The sculpture made in a shining stone. So many there are. I have collected many, but I'm not discussing that here. So earlier to Kalidas and earlier to Ashok and even earlier to Lord Buddha or Jain Mahavir, there are references. Now I will show you how this Snigdha, Shlakshana and Pravanti, this terminology, we or our ancient rishis knew it. So this is the very important which now we have gone Shakuntala, and now I will move to the earlier text where we find Snigdha Shlakshani or Shlakshana. So there is much to add in that. Now I will, yeah, time. It is about 11:15. Yes. So I will not take much of time because the next speaker also be ready. So I have given, I show only the things, what I have collected and I have found. क्या बात है भाई, हर बार कुछ गड़बड़ हो?
messages आ रहे हैं, मैं check कर रही थी कि कोई कोई बोल ना रहा।
हाँ, नहीं. So these are the references of those three words, and I will simply show the slides that many I have collected in Raghuvansh also, in Padma Puran also, Abhigyan Shakuntalam I have discussed, and this is, what is this? Someone. So many texts I have so you see, these are the for Snigdha. And earliest reference I find in Atharva Veda. Just you see how old and how regularly we find these terms. So it is a terminology which was known to everyone, and related technology also should have been known. Now, I'm not mentioning each one, but a few. You see, Shlakshana is mentioned up to the Rigveda, and Atharvaveda and Rigveda, not in proper Rigveda, but in the Khila Sukta. There are mentioned, I have given here. So the terms we find in the Buddhist times, in the Jain literature, and in our Sanskrit texts, they come since the times of the Vedas. See, this is Atharva Veda. The two mantras I have quoted, Shlakshana, the word is there, and the meaning is also there, and it is also in the Tailiya Padarth is mentioned, and it is found out of the Taileya Padarth, and I consider that it was the Ingudi, preferably Ingudi. There may have been other oils also. So these are the references, and not many. But you see, the other reference is very, very important for me and you also, that this snigdha, this lustre, all these, which is imbibed in the word shlakshana, and how it comes, how this word has been adopted. There is a reference in the lower part of my showing to you the slide. There is a vulgar known as the Pungi Phalam, the tree which gives Pug Phal. Pugi Phalam ne Pug Phal. So a vulgar, shining vulgar. And the other word is shak. Shak is the snake, and the skin of the snake. And you see, it is a snake there, it is red, chamak usme hai, glossy nahi hai. It is with his body itself. It is nothing put from the outside. So whatever the Mauryan sculptures or structures were made, the lustre was not from outside. It was so prepared. The technology was so nice, so good, so evolved, that the brightness goes inside the stone, and thus it was prepared, and nobody could say that the lustre is outside. The lustre comes from inside the stone. So all these things we have, I think this is the last. So yes, these are the Vedic references. This is the last slide, and thank you all to be with us. Yeah. Yes, if there are any questions.
Dear friend, your voice is not clear. Please speak a little loud so that Gurudev Professor Pandey ji can answer your query.
एक मिनट यार.
Yes. Yes, please, welcome.
I have one question. मेरा नाम
Yes.
सचिन है.
Yes.
हमारा था टॉपिक रिव्यू ऑफ मौर्यन इरा पॉलिश, एंड आपने बताना चाहा था कि एक पॉइंट पे